Welcome back in my channel today. Hope you are doing good and great with God's grace. And I'm sure you are enjoying the series of the scripting as well. Definitely not from the technical side, but at least from the functional consulting perspective as well. Today on the day number 7, I bring some interesting topic, but a smaller topic as well. We are going to be discuss about the jelly scripting, UI pages and UI macros. Something new here which I learned is that ServiceNow is not only using the JavaScript. They have a concept called the jelly, which is a combination or which has a tag with the alphabet J and G. J2 and G2. So let's come back our favorite place and we'll start discussion on that part. Okay, so to complete today's session, I will be using chapter number 7 and chapter number 8 together. Okay, so what this says, jelly is one of the very lesser used language in scripting, specifically in the ServiceNow area. It is used when you want to be define some kind of a custom pages. Now the question comes, Atul, what do you mean by the word custom pages? The pop-up we saw, the page, password reset page we saw, those are called the UI pages, where you are not storing anything, you're just keeping the things for the record purpose, matching it and closing it. That is called the UI, or I'll not say UI is the right word, but we can have the custom UI pages specifically here. Okay. So the main point which we talk about the jelly is that one of the main area you will find jelly script in the UI pages and UI macro as well. Jelly is a combination of Java and XML, you can see here. Okay. When I say the combination means it uses Java and XML scripting engine and turning the XML file into the executable code where you can do something and you can run your code actually. Otherwise, as per my understanding, XML is just used for the storing the data. But in the jelly, you can create your code, you can create your function, and you can do some execution as well. To do this part, let's proceed further on the jelly scripting part. That how jelly look like. What is the syntax for the jelly? Okay, so what we can do, let's come here and open the board and just go to the, let's see if something with the name jelly is there. No, it is not there. Let's say UI pages and click here and let's click on the new here. This is the jelly part. HTML, this HTML is the, and you can see XML is also mentioned. It means it is using Java plus XML engine to make it as a executable part. Okay, it has no references like it is a client side or a server side. No, mainly it is a client side because you want to show something to the user on the front part. But I'll not say that these I am not in the position to categorize this in the client side. So let's keep it as a separate category called the UI pages. And now we have to see that what is the syntax for the jelly here. It is taking XML as the first parameter and then putting jelly, this one. The interesting point which is I said that it has a 2 parameter, jelly J and glide G, J2 and G2. What is the purpose of J and G and J2 and G2? The purpose of jelly is basically to say that if you want to work on the 2 things in a one go, where you know that the first parameter is not going to be changed, but second parameter can be changed, then we are storing that parameter in the J2. I am saying parameter means the value I am talking here. Okay, so that is called the J2 and J2 here. So let's come back here and we'll discuss this part a little bit more here. Okay. This code set up the XML version and the encoding and then the jelly text. This is what we just saw has been written. Trim set whether the white spaces inside the tag should be trimmed or not. So generally we put it as a false. If you want to trim, you can put as a true. the 4 parameters 1, 2, 3 and 4, sorry, this one 1, 2, 3 and 4 parameters. Okay, where we gone? Yep, are here. Jelly split in the 4 parameters has been set to tags and phases of the jelly script. Yes, so this is the right word. Phase 1 J and G, phase 2 J2 and G2 is the phase 2. Jelly split into the 2 phases. The first phase called the J and G with the second J2 and G2. J and G tags are passed with the result being cache. So you are keeping the result in this particular place. You are caching it. Followed by the second phase J2 and G2. When the script is run, subsequently only the second phase will be get passed again and again, because you are keeping the things constant in the first phase. Okay. The J tags are native to Jelly and the G tags are native to the created by the ServiceNow to use the Jelly. So this is, I can say, kind of a customization ServiceNow give in the product. If they want to use the Jelly, so they introduce G as a tag, which indicate yes, it is created by the ServiceNow specifically. Okay. To discuss more about this part, let me take you to the chapter number 8 as well, because then we'll close this particular topic of the Jelly scripting. Okay. Here. Same thing we are talking here, but he's saying that Jelly scripting can be added to the UI pages or the UI macros. We will discuss the UI pages in little bit depth, but before that, let's discuss on the Jelly part once more. Okay. So Jelly, mainly in the Jelly we use the two, or I'm going to show the 2 tags here. Number 1 is called the evaluate tag. Remember, in the advanced server-side scripting, we have a eval as a tag. In our I guess in the script includes, or in our I guess in some other places. So G evaluate means G stands for the ServiceNow and evaluate is the tag here. If you want to do some kind of a evaluation, you can put the like this. So G evaluate tag is arguably the most used in Jelly and is certainly one to get grip with. Remember, we can use G or G2 for our purpose, but it depends that which particular parameter you want to parse actually. Generally we use G2 always, because we want okay, G should be store the cache things, and G2 should be parse the things always. G2 column evaluate var J var variable. This is again the standard, I can say here. It is not give like it is user to be right. It is be required, otherwise it will not work properly. So what it's saying here, if I scroll down, in this example we are going to be run the code in the second phase, so we are using the G2. Okay. In the tag definition, we are also defining the variable name as the var J var variable. We can name the variable different name, but we must use the word J var, which indicates it belongs to the Java. Okay. So J var variable to the string evaluate the script. The evaluate tag run and find out the expressions and set up the or evaluate the variables here. Okay. So this is what the first parameter we are using here in the part. So what we are doing here, let's see what is the example they'll be giving here. There are some parameter we can use G evaluate tag. Let's see this to be an example. What I'm going to be do, I'm saying that create one variable that is called the jvar on hold incident. Okay, I'm creating an object incident in the glide record and I'm calling this jelly.jvar on hold state. This one I'm calling it here. Okay, this is what I'm doing the comparison here. So in this example, we can also see 2 parameters, G evaluate and tag object and jelly. The object tag indicates this one, where I can see this one. Okay, the object tag indicate whether the jvar variable should be treated as an object or not. Means, are you treating this particular jvar as an object, or it's kind of a only separate entity, it's not an object. Okay, so you can put it like this, and then you can run the query here and you can get the things. Then get the things in the jelly part. I have not much idea about this, so this is what I understood. I'm sharing with you guys here. Now the second tag which we are using here is called the if. As we know that if plays a very vital role, but how to use the if, that is a little separate part here. So J if, and to check the if parameter, we have a variable called the test, and I'm storing the value of expression in the test only. So if test true, then run this. If test fail, then run this thing. This is what we can be do here. And like you can see here, has on hold incident dot next, and it can do that part. So what we are doing here in this example, if I say we are showing a message depending on whether there are currently on hold incident in the instance. If statement has one parameter, which is test, which is expression we need to be evaluated as a true, run the code inside the script. So I'm storing the value of the on hold incident in the test. If it is a true, getting true, then I'm showing this particular message. Otherwise, I'm not showing this particular message here. Now let me come back to the chapter number 7, because we have to be discuss about the UI pages. Now the question comes, Atul, what is the UI pages? As I say, the pop-up windows, the custom pages, the password reset page is example of the UI pages. Let's come here and see something on this part. I'll go here, UI pages, just open it, and you can see here the UI pages has been mentioned. So password change, this is what when we got. Click here and you can see here. This is the password change UI page. So now if you log in, you can see the password dot something is there, right? How to call this? You have to just put dot do at the last, and it will be open for you. So like if I try like this, what is the name here? Let's try if it is work for us or not. Dot do. It is not finding. Let me put the complete name, that is a dollar is there, right? Or maybe it's checking some other parameter as well. Yep. So now you can see this is a custom page for me. Okay, this is the custom page for me. So now how you can define the custom page? You have to be use the UI pages concept here. So I click on the UI page here and click on the new here. Let me try to write some simple code. So it will contain the HTML, it will contain the client script, because it is running on the form level. So definitely it's a client side, it is not a server side. Okay, so let me put the name here, LNG. Category means you can put any category. It has no reference anywhere. It is just for the reporting purpose or the grouping purpose. You can do that. How many UI pages I have a content one, how many pages in the journal, how many pages for the home pages, like this. So this is what you can do here. And now if I come here and check this part. So this is what we discussed, mentioned in the English as well. So you can read this part. Okay. So now it has a 3 part: HTML, client, and the processing. HTML means how the page will be look like. That is the HTML part. Client script, what you want to do actually, what function you want to, what method you want to, what class you want to call it here. Okay. So now if I scroll down here, this is what the client side do. Okay. It will run when the UI page is loaded. Okay. It will show what the code mentioned, the HTML, and finally make it the page for me. So like this sample UI page. Let me copy this part. Okay. In our XML code, I just want to be show this message. Sample UI page. I know I copied that one wrongly. This is what. Now what to write in the coding part? Let me write like this only. See, it is not on the form level, but it is something user can able to see. I not say that it is not a field on the form. No, maybe you can try gs dot. Maybe it will not work. So something like this, page has been loaded. So I'm putting just message here. You can write the client script here, complete client script you can write here. Nothing to be worried on that part. Okay. So now if I save this part here and let go here and open that dev lng.do. So now this page is appearing like this. Okay, if I click OK, you can see the message is coming. This is what coming from my HTML code. This is what coming from the my client script part. So this is the example of the UI pages here. Small example just to be understand, but you have to be called via .do. That is very much important here. Okay. So this is the example which I want to be show you. UI pages are great way to create custom pages. Sometimes the customer demand. I have one in the interview, one question has been asked, Atul, in a change management, I want something similar to the risk assessment. Can you do it for me? I said no, because risk assessment is coming out of the box. He said no, go and check the risk assessment. When I see, I was able to find out that it is something like a UI page for me, and then I give opportunity and work on that part. The only benefit in the UI page is that you'll be getting option to search, to start from the scratch. You can design what you want to do. Again, it is a complete customization. For me, it is a complete customization because you're writing a complete code. You're defining a new page here. Okay. So now if I scroll down a little bit here, what in the example they're doing, they're creating something similar here. Let me show you. In the example, what they're doing, which we are not going to be do now. I'm just showing what they'll be doing. So like this. By this example, we are going to be create a similar interceptor like this. So it is coming, you can see here, it is coming from changedirect.do. Because I'm using the San Diego and I have activated that particular property. Otherwise, I can see the separate or the different interceptor as well. But at last, it is coming from this particular .do. It is a UI page for me. And by the example, we are just getting the similar page in the HTML format. Because it is HTML, you can write as much as you want to do. You can write it very easily. Nobody is going to be asking anything on that part. Okay. So like this one you can mention. Maybe I can put it like this. Let copy something here and let go to our UI page and let remove this. Will it work properly? Let's see. Will it work for me or not? Yes. Okay. Let me save this and let's come here. And let's return this page. Page loaded. Okay. Did we save? It is giving me error that there is some error in the JJelly terminated. Must be the JJelly like this. Wait, has been terminated or not terminated? So that we have to, because we just copy pasted the code, nothing else we have done, guys, here. So that is it is giving me a problem statement. It is giving me the error here that JJelly should be closed here. Okay, but you can try it. It is normal code. They have copy pasted. Nothing much they have done. So if you want, I can even copy paste. But I don't want to be do that part. Okay, you have to be do that. What class? What is the container? All the things is there. So you can do that part. Okay, and in the client script, it is mentioned nothing because it don't want to be take any action. You want to just show that what is be happening here. That is the only thing. It is interpreter work here. Maybe this is a mistake. It's saying the line number 3, the element type J jelly. Some syntax I guess we are missing here. So it's giving me a error here. Okay. So this is the what we done on the UI page as well. Now if I go to the UI macros, UI macro is another important thing, guys, here. Now you can able to see this, right? This is nothing. This is a UI macro for me. Same fundamentally to work with the .do actually. So if I open any incident here, let me see. If I open this incident, okay, and when I click on the service next to the service, if I click something like this, let me open this incident here quickly. Okay, now it's loading. Sorry. Yep. So now on the service, you can see these 3 boxes, right? 1, 2, and 3. These are nothing. These are the UI action. If I open this, click on this, sorry, it is a not UI action, it is a UI macro. This is nothing, it is a UI macro only. Again, UI macro means again a combination of the HTML and the Java here. So now how to define this part? See, you are not able to see that which page is this, right? It is a UI macro. So let's come here and search for the UI macro here and click on the UI macros here. Let's leave it. Okay, let me come back here to just give a little bit introduction about the UI macro. So UI macros are the script that can be included in the UI pages and in any other throughout the ServiceNow platform. Create once, use anywhere. This is what ServiceNow policy says, right? Create code one and put it anywhere. Okay. So UI macro is a quite simple form with only few fields, because you don't want to show a lot of fields here, right? If I click here, Atul, I don't want 100 or 200 fields here. I just want 3 to 4 fields here. But it is all about the coding. You have to be write it here. That is important. Same fundamentality use Jelly scripting, which we already discussed, but it will be used or it will be invoked by the macro underscore invoke tag is required. That which particular you want to be invoked, which particular UI macro you need to be invoked, that you have to be defined. Again, this is again from the front end perspective, client side perspective. Nothing is like for the server side, because you are performing the things on the front end. So now if I come here, UI macro, and open that XML, completely XML part, description, because it is a limited one. You don't want to do any kind of operation. I can put the name here, LNG and LNG. No condition, nothing, because this is what you want to make it a standard. That is called that is reason it is called the UI macros here. Macro says, if I go from the layman language, macro says you want to do same thing again and again and again and again. Like in Excel we have a macro, in PowerPoint we have a macro. You just record once and it will do the work again and again for you. So now let's come here, and how to invoke. This is the method here. Where to invoke, on which button you want to invoke, you can put the UI button as well here. Okay. So on a UI button, you can put this code G:UI button. Then G: a macro invoke. You can use that part. So we use the macro invoke tag here and the macro parameter to invoke our UI macro. We just need to give the name of the UI macro like this, LNG, and you have to be just put this parameter like this. Okay, what it should do, you have to be write it here. I'm not saying that you have to be write like this. No, you have to be write a code here that what you want to be display. Okay, but how to invoke, this is the technique, or this is the method here. Okay, now if I show you some example here for the UI macro, how to get a UI page ourselves. Let's bring these two ability together to make a UI macro here. Okay, let me show you something in this part. So this is the way I am writing a big code here. Now this is the code. This is the thing which I want to be do it here. Okay, like I can say welcome in LNG world. Okay. Now how to invoke this, that is very much important here. And to invoke this, what you have to be do, you have to be use the formatter actually. This is the, like for the schedule jobs we have, for that event management we have the script action. In the same manner for the UI macro we have the formatter here. So let me click a save here or submit here and come here and search for the formatter. Open the formatter here, and now like we call the script action, in the same manner we are going to be call the UI macro here. Name LNG, formatter name is the name which we put in the particular table. So it was LNG. In which table you want to show? I want to show on the incident table. I can put it like this. Type of formatter, component formatter, you can put like componenter and click submit. And let's see if I reload my page, we're able to see something like this. Maybe somewhere I can see. It's not showing to me. Let's go to the code and just quickly check. So formatter, okay, sorry, we have to put the XML, complete XML name here. So I'm going to the UI macro and open it in another window. Okay, and then LNG, and then let me put like this LNG underscore like this, so that it is easy for me to call this particular XML here. Okay, like this you can do that part, or maybe you want to check, you can check the like this. Okay, you can check this part, and now you can come here and open the UI macro LNG and go to the formatter and put the XML name here, dot XML. You want to put any component like this, you can do this formatting easily at your side. That's not an issue here. Okay, now let's see if it will work for me or not. Sorry. I'm not able to see because it is a formatter. It means I have to go somewhere in this part here. And let's see, configure and form layout. Do we have this in our formatter? What was the name? LNG, right? This one is there. If you see LNG, sorry. This one. Let me bring. Let's see if will it work for us or not. I'm not sure, but we can try this part. And now I save it, and now you can see welcome in LNG what is appearing here. This is the way that I can bring the UI macro here. I know that I did not put a big code here, but if you want, you can check the UI macros and you can create a number of UI macros, because this is depend on this formatter. Based on the formatter it will appear. Okay, now maybe if I come here, you can see the view macro in the formatter, how it will look like. Or you want to open this, you can do like this here. You can put some kind of symbols or some kind of images, which is easily for you to do that part. Okay, so this is what I want to show you from the UI pages part. So like they are using that macro like this, they want to show the information like this, but I want to show on the form, so I showed you on that part. So guys, this is from my side on the Jelly scripting UI pages and the UI macro. Hope you like today's video as well. Please go and put your comments, your feedback in the comment section, and thank you so much. We'll meet again soon for the next session of the same series. Thank you. Bye bye guys.